Hey, good morning, Southern Colorado. Welcome to Pros on Call. Paul Scheidler with you, 7:29 in the AM, right here on Cruisin' Oldies, 101.3 FM. Yeah, I know, running a little bit late in today, and it just kind of is what it is, and I'll just leave it at that. Happy Friday out there. And there's going to be some different stuff going on. Radio Shopping Show has a early bird show today after us, and so you got to stay tuned right here. A lot of stuff going on, and you were just listening to our guy Buzz Corona talk about the weather, and not so bad today. Definitely going to be warmer than yesterday, and you're going to be talking about low 60s here in low to mid 60s here in Colorado Springs, and high 60s down in the Steel City. But overall, pretty darn nice day today. Weekend, it's going to be up a little, down a little, but nothing really major. They're still keeping an eye on Monday. Could have some things coming in. Don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see how that whole thing turns out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going, because I got some great stuff here, and I've been excited to have this gentleman on the show with us. And it's been a while since we've have anybody really on the show on a regular basis, and we're going to do that because this is important. And so we've got Rodney with Firma IT Service and Solutions. Did I get that right, Rodney, or did I mess it up?
Good morning. Firma IT Solutions. Yes, sir.
Okay. Solutions and service.
Yep.
Yeah. Service with the solution.
With a smile.
Yeah, there you go. You know what? The thing about this is that Rodney and his staff, they are IT professionals. They are really the folks to go to, and it talks about cybersecurity. And when we talk about IT, we think about, making sure our computers are working right and are talking with one another and all those types of things. And yes, that's important. But I'll tell you what's really important, keeping those out of there that shouldn't be in there, and that's what we're really going to be focusing on. And before we get started, Rodney, how do folks get in touch with you if they have some more questions? And I want folks to know that you focus on businesses, small and large. There's neither too small or too large for you all to take care of their needs.
Yes.
And it's absolutely free for them to contact you, have you come and do a cybersecurity analysis on their systems.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't cost them a thing to find out what their vulnerabilities are and how we can move forward. The phone number is 719-377-6603. 719-377-6603.
Okay, and so you can give them a call, and again, that's 377-6603. If you miss any of that, of course, just go to prosoncalllive.com, go to our pro businesses. All of their contact information is on there. But if you own a business, whether it's small, medium, large size, you're working in a business, you can be the hero of that business by telling the boss, hey, I heard about this morning, and they can come in and they can do this cybersecurity analysis for free. What does that consist of? I'm just kind of curious, Rodney.
It's non-invasive. We don't disrupt your workflow for the day. We just did one for a pretty large business out here in Colorado Springs. It took about an hour, and we just take a look and see what kind of backup systems you're running, see what type of cybersecurity software, if any, you have running on your systems, see if you have any old software that's a vector for viruses and other malware to get into your machines. We take a look at your network, see if you're running anything secure or unsecure. Most of the time when I go do these cyber audits on businesses, 99% of the time I find a lot of really glaring discrepancies in the network that will cause them to be a low-hanging fruit for cyber criminals.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we get into these routines, and day after day goes by, and hacking is something that happens to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, until it happens to you.
Right.
So, my whole purpose is to try to help these businesses before they get hacked. Of course, we'll be here after the fact, but I'd like to see you not get hacked, because it's not, a lot of businesses think that it's just them that gets affected when there's a cyber attack on their business.
Right.
All the data on all the people that are on your systems, that's also affected, and for many of you, you're connected to other systems, other businesses to run your business, like a lot of the private practice or anything that's in the medical field. They connect to external databases for billing or for healthcare records. So if I'm able to compromise your system at the office, I can compromise everything that you connect to. And a lot of folks don't realize that that's a bigger issue.
You know, that's a really interesting thing that you're bringing up, because that's what these hackers do, is that they follow the trail of crumbs.
Yes.
And that could lead you to the giant wheel of cheese, and that's what they're looking for.
Yep.
When we're talking about cloud systems, and I have no idea what those are, and so I'm going to ask you a little bit about that, because we talk about that, and more people talk about that, working from the cloud, storing on the cloud, and things like that. And in my mind, it's just a large server that's off someplace. But what is that, and is that something that's vulnerable also?
It depends on the cloud. So not all cloud systems are created equal. So the cloud, that concept has been around for a long time, but it's been used lately for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a great term, the cloud.
Yeah.
But back in the day when you were using AOL, dial-up, with the discs that used to come in the mail,
Mm-hmm.
That email was in the cloud. The email wasn't stored on your computer. It was out on a server somewhere on the internet.
Okay.
So that's what that means.
And so that's what it is. It's just a term, but we're talking about a server or a group of servers that
Yes.
are storing that data and information.
Yes, somewhere off-site, off your premise,
Mhm.
that you don't have to own it.
Now, so let's go ahead and roll all the way up to the cloud. So now we're talking about these businesses and things that have millions, let's say, of customers, information, contacts, and things like that, and they've got all this stored on these massive storage systems. Now, I would think that they, of all people, would be the ones that would be totally cognizant of having people all the time watching these and watching for threats and staying up on the latest things to make sure that those are not compromised. I see you
No.
shaking your head right now.
Yeah, a lot of times what I see is businesses find what works, and without being cognizant of the security of it, and as long as it works, they're okay. As long as they come into work and their computers are running,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. As long as their data is accessible to a bunch of people in the cloud for their business, then it's okay. But like I said before, there's a right and a wrong way to utilize the cloud. For instance, I was doing a cybersecurity analysis for a business here that that uses a lot of personal information for their business on other people, and all of the data was in Dropbox,
Ooh.
just up there, unencrypted. If Dropbox gets compromised, and all that data is going to be out there. I've seen other businesses put a lot of private user information into Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Not the business side, but like the Google Drive at gmail.com
Right.
type.
Because that's gotten pretty popular. People like to use that because it's almost unlimited storage space.
Yeah, but when you use the free one, we were talking earlier about the user agreements that people don't read.
Right.
So Google owns everything that you put on
really?
your cloud
I'm
system.
not surprised.
Yes, everything.
Okay, I'm not
so if you have a bunch
surprised.
of private user data in that Google Drive, then
They
Google's
legitimately
got stuff. Yeah, they're
and legally.
data mining it, selling it. It's not private.
Wow.
And if you don't encrypt it, that makes it even worse.
Right.
So what I try to set up for our clients are set up their own cloud. That's not.
Well, that
a
makes
public
more sense.
system. Yeah.
Right.
So it's encrypted, and we know where it is,
Mhm.
and we can protect it. And
Right.
It's a lot safer to use when you build your own.
And then is that going to be an off-site system then?
It could be,
Yeah.
or it could be a server in their office
Right.
that they're able to remote connect to correctly. I've seen a lot of that too. So, at some point it'll start snowing here. And,
Yeah.
business owners aren't going to want to leave the house and go to work.
Right.
They want to be able to access their information from the couch or from the fireplace.
Mhm.
So we set up systems like that that are encrypted and secure and safe to use. But there's a lot of businesses that try to set that up themselves, and they set it up wrong, and they set it up in a way that compromises their systems and leaves them open to cyber attack.
Great.
So,
And there again, these are all things that, as you were talking about before, as long as you come in, your computer system comes up, and you can access your files and things like that. You don't really think about it.
It's all good.
Everything's working fine, right?
Yep. And I'll walk in and I'll see like a consumer antivirus program, like Norton Internet Security, and it expired like 157 days ago. And the business owner doesn't know. It's like, yeah, I saw that. I kept closing that every time it popped up. And I was
yeah.
like, okay, so you've been working on a very insecure machine, and we need to tighten those up. So those are
Right.
things I see when I go out and do these audits. So it's very important to keep your system safe. And it doesn't cost you anything to find out what kind of vulnerabilities you have on your systems. So just give us a call.
And folks, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Rodney with Firma IT Solutions and Service. And Rodney was talking about here, if you own a business or multiple businesses actually, or you want to be the hero at the business, then you just say, hey, you know what, let's give this guy a call. Have one of his staff come out, and they're going to do a free cybersecurity analysis on your business system. All you got to do is just give them a call, tell them you heard it here on Pros on Call, 719-377-6603. That's 377-6603 for Firma IT Solutions. And so, going back to that, we were talking about that with Uber. And that just came out. They had a massive data breach, and they just said, shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, 57 million accounts compromised, but what's crazy about it is that it happened a year ago.
Right.
And they're just now coming out about it. So here's the thing about the Ubers and the Yahoos and Targets and PlayStation Networks and all those things. Like, those are huge companies. I think Uber's trying to make cars that fly right now. Like, that's where they're at right now. So when that news story came out about the breach, there are still people downloading the app. There's still people using Uber, which is great. Mm-hmm. But the company's so massive, they'll be able to weather this storm.
Right.
But a lot of the small businesses out here, if you get breached, you're not going to weather the storm like Target and Uber and all of them. You're going to go down. You'll probably lose your company.
Yep.
Because you didn't make the investment to protect yourself. Because what happens is, even if you get cyber liability insurance, and if you don't have that, you should. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of companies in town that provide cyber liability insurance, like the Scott Anderson agency here in town. Mm-hmm. But even after you get hit and your insurance kicks in, and you're able to afford my company to come in and try to bring your systems back online, when the consumers find out, because they're going to ask,
right?
And that's what the business owners aren't thinking about. You're going to be asked, what were you doing to protect yourself and keep this from happening? Mm-hmm. So when your answer is nothing, or your answer is, I have my office manager do it, who has no training whatsoever in IT.
Yep.
That's not going to look very good for you. And your consumer confidence is going to go in the toilet, and you're going to lose a lot of your clients.
Right.
And you may not be able to survive it, even with the cyber liability insurance.
Right. And that's the whole thing. When your clients have lost confidence in you,
yes.
You're done.
Yep.
And here in Colorado Springs, we've got a very interesting kind of mix of businesses here. One of the major ones we have is obviously with the military, and that breeds the DoD contractors. So we have a ton of that here. And I'm just kind of curious, your background, military service, your wife's still in military service.
Yes.
You guys have served our country well. And the fact is that you've been privy to a lot of different things. And I'm just kind of curious that, okay, I'm XYZ company, and I want to be a DoD contractor, and we're going to be doing this stuff for them. Is there things that are required by the military that says that if you're going to do business with us, you have to have this type of security?
Yes. So our government does have standards before you're able to engage them in any type of business. If you want to work for the Department of Defense in any type of computer capacity, you have to have what's called a CompTIA Security Plus certification. That's the key to getting to the door. So I do a lot of work with SecureSet here in town. There's a lot of transitioning military trying to go into the DoD workforce. They're learning skills like that, and Pikes Peak Community College and a lot of schools out here are getting students prepared to go into that workforce by getting them those certifications. I'm an adjunct professor of cybersecurity for Pikes Peak Community College, so I teach Security Plus and Certified Ethical Hacker over their defense contractors to keep them compliant, so they can keep working with the government. Our company at this time does not do any government work. When I used to work for the DoD, I saw the cyber attack situation up close, really up close. So we're at war. They don't talk about that a lot. We're talking about North Korea a lot and some of the other threats. But we are in a cyber war right now, and the Department of Defense and all of our government infrastructure, it's very well protected. but it's still under attack, heavy attack.
Right.
So what do you do if you're trying to attack folks, but all the doors are locked? You go after the ones that the doors aren't locked.
Right. You keep
the doors are wide open.
Right. If you're going down a hallway with nothing but doors, that's what you're going to do. Is you're going to try each door to see which one's unlocked.
Yeah. And a lot of the doors aren't even closed, let alone being locked.
Hey, there's a party in here.
Businesses. Yeah. It's pretty bad, and there's a big push for cybersecurity here in the state of Colorado. From Governor Hickenlooper down to Mayor Southers, there's a lot of talk about cyber. We have the National Cybersecurity Center here. Pikes Peak SBDC has their cyber CYA, cover your ass sets.
I like that.
Yeah, and I just happen to be a cyber consultant for the SBDC on that.
Okay.
So for business owners that just have questions or want to learn about the threat or understand the cyber threat and what they can do to protect your business a little more, they can call the SBDC, 719-667-3803, and tell them you want to get an appointment with a cyber consultant to talk about these things.
Wow.
And they may link you up with me, but we have a dream team of companies that are part of this project.
Right.
And Agatha Marcoulier is leading the charge on this, and she's awesome. Hey, Agatha, good morning. So we're trying to help. So there's really no excuse for a business to be as vulnerable as the ones that I see, but a lot of people still are failing to take the initiative to do something about the problem.
Well, and that's what it comes down to, taking that first step.
Yes.
And folks, the first step is giving a call to Rodney at Firma IT Solutions, and you're going to get a free cybersecurity analysis for your business, and so you can be the hero of the business if you're going into work right now and you tell the boss, hey, I just heard about this, and it doesn't cost anything, and it opens your eyes, and it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, well, I need to step up and do something about this. Maybe you're great, we don't know, but Rodney will when he comes in. Just give them a call, 719-377-6603. That's 719-377-6603 for Firma IT Solutions. And so I find this so interesting that I want to go back to this with these hackers that you were talking about. And we know this for a fact, that these other countries, North Korea, China, there's all kinds of them out there where the government actually is employing people, I'm sure.
State-sponsored, yes. Right,
that they just sit there and that's what they do all day, all night. Is they just hack away. Now, I'm just kind of curious and just, kind of an overview on that. Is there a program that a lot of these use that just go and knock on all those doors just to see if anybody opens them, or do they? How do they go about this, and how do you know when you've had a threat or an attack?
So, as far as them attacking you, there are automated systems, but the whole thing is human driven. So that's the important thing to drive home. The whole thing is human driven. So if somebody's writing code to launch some type of automated program, a person wrote that program that's going out there and looking for all the IP addresses that have Comcast modems with the default username and password on it.
Oh.
And there's a lot of them out there.
Okay.
I saw one the other day.
Never change the username or password.
So, my shout out is to Comcast. I love you guys. Your technology is incredible for businesses. But please, have your engineers just take a few more minutes and change the default username and password on those cable modems that you're installing for these business clients. I'm begging you to do this. Because it leaves them terribly exposed. And if it doesn't happen during the install, the client's not going to do it. They don't know. It's like, well, my internet works, I'm good.
Well, when
I have no idea the door's wide open.
I switched back over to Comcast not long ago, and the fact is that Great Tech, and he had asked me at the time when he finished everything up, and he said, okay, here's the username password for the modem, and we suggest that you change that. Did you want to do it now, or you could do it later? And I already had password, username that I kind of mix up and use, and I was like, no, let's do it now.
Yeah, and let's not get that confused with the wireless password. So a lot of times when they set those systems up, there's like 2 wireless networks that you get to have. I'm not talking about that password. So there's a username and password to get into the actual modem itself and change all the configurations and all that. So if you leave that wide open with the defaults, you can Google the default username password for pretty much any electronic device that's out there. Your televisions, your security cameras, they all have a default. So you got to make sure you change those defaults.
I'm
So
gonna
a
have
lot
to
of
double
those-
check it now. I'm thinking, was that just wireless? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, wireless and the access to it, as far as wired or unwired, I guess, I would have to have that password code in order to access the modem, right?
Yes. So if you if you have Comcast and you open up your web browser and you go to a website 10.1.10.1, and it brings up your username and password screen. The username is cusadmin, CUSADMIN, and password high speed. If that works, that's a problem. You need to change that today.
Really?
Yes, change it today. So that's just one of the automated things that a lot of these hackers do. A lot of things also, these other countries have been coding since they've been in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And so now they're, our age, and they're like weaving through the internet like Neo in the Matrix. They're just bending code to their will. And, we're trying to catch up to that.
Right.
Because we're a little bit behind that curve.
Right.
But as far as our government concerned, I'm really not too concerned about the government being able to keep up with that. But the focus of my company is to look after our small businesses in this community, because they do not have the protection that, the government has working for them.
Right. Well, and then, so let's go ahead and scale down here. I'm a small business, okay, and I sell widgets. And I've got 5 employees, and so we have a storefront, and we also have an online store, and we don't do much there with anything except selling widgets, and all of our point of sale is on our computer, and our payroll and bookkeeping, counting, inventory, and things like that. But, I'm just a small widget company. And I just sell widgets. I don't even make them. Why would anybody want to mess with me, Rodney?
Yeah, so I get that a lot as a rebuttal to getting services.
I could tell by the smile on your face. You're like,
businesses
I've
will
heard
say,
this.
I'm too small.
Right.
Nobody's looking for me.
Nobody wants what I got.
Yeah, and you're wrong. You're super wrong, and I don't want to wait until you get hacked for you to figure out how wrong you are with that. You are not too small. Even if you're a one-person operation, you're not too small, because you're dealing with other people, and cyber attackers want all those other people that you deal with. They might not even be after you. They may be after the things that you connect to. So I've had, I remember an accounting firm that I did some work for, and all their stuff is in the cloud. So they told me that they did not need to worry about security on their computers because all the work they did was in the cloud. So I told this owner, if I compromise your computer, then I own your cloud. Everything that you connect to, I own. And it won't look like a hack. I'll use your same credentials. The same logins you use to get in, I'll use the same ones and walk right on in, and nobody will ever know. So those are the cyber attacks we're looking at. You asked me a second ago, like, how do you know if you've been compromised? So there's a threat out there called ransomware.
Right.
And a lot of people have been
Get by that,
this.
yeah.
So you'll come into work one day, you'll see some FBI logo or something weird on your screen, and it'll say, hey, all your data's been encrypted and locked, and you need to pay us in some type of anonymous electronic currency, like a Bitcoin or something, in order to get your data back. And a lot of people are paying those ransoms.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't, because if you got to get back up, you don't have to pay the ransom. But that's when you know you've been hit.
Right.
When you obviously can't work because your machines are locked.
Right.
But there's businesses that are compromised where everything looks like it's working just fine.
Right. Then that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Everything looks like it's working just fine, and you've got free antivirus on your computers because you think that's all you need.
Sure.
And you've got no backup because you use a USB drive every day. That's not the way to do it. And a lot of times those hackers will sit in your machine and just pull data out. You might notice like a little bit of internet slowness. It's like, my internet's been a little slow. It's because somebody's constantly streaming data out of your network all day, all the time. Because if they're quiet about it, they can just keep taking your information. You'll never know.
You never know they're there.
You never know. But I know if you have the right security on your systems, they can't get in. If somebody tries to get in, it'll set off all kinds of alarms.
Right.
So one of the concepts we use to protect our clients is called defense in depth. So not just one thing, but a multitude of security protocols in place. It's like having a bunch of tripwires all over the place. So somebody's going to trip something. Somebody's going to ring the bells, and we're going to see it.
Right.
And there'll be systems in place to stop the the attack before it becomes a problem.
And going back to that, okay, then we're talking about that. My business is too small. I don't need to, Rodney. I think you're a great guy, but hey, why would I have to pay for this? But I think we've exposed this now a little bit. Is that you're not too small, and it's not even just maybe the risk to your business. Now you've put other businesses at risk too,
yes.
And all of your customers, all of your vendors, and everything else like this. So it's almost like I don't know, having typhoid fever and then deciding to travel around the country a little bit and spread the wealth.
Yeah.
But the fact is that maybe I'm saying that, gee, I can't afford this.
It's very affordable. It's a lot more affordable than you think. I've got a friend who is executive director of a really large nonprofit here in town, and I'd asked her about their IT security, and they said they didn't have any. I was like, well, how come? And it's like, well, we couldn't afford it. It's like, did you ever ask, or find out, ask anybody, what it would cost? Like, that's a good question. We didn't. We just assumed we couldn't afford to do it. So please, it doesn't cost you anything to have this analysis done on your systems, but you'll be surprised how affordable this stuff is. I mean, I've seen, and even if it's affordable, I've still seen businesses just say, you know what, we've been operating 10, 15 years, no problem.
Right.
For instance, I had another business.
Maybe they've already lost all of their data and they don't even know it.
Yeah. I have one company, it's actually 3 independent businesses, and they share internet, okay, between the 3 businesses.
Wow, that's sketchy.
And they're 3 independent businesses, so they're all on the same, I don't want to get too technical, but they're all on the same network together.
Right.
So no matter what computer I go to for each of these individual businesses, I can see all the other computers on the network,
Which is
bad.
Yeah, that's
and all
sketchy.
3 of them deal in very highly sensitive personal information of people in our community.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, this is a problem. The cable modem issue I just told you about, they had that. So
Wow.
that's a problem. They had one wireless network for all 3 businesses to share. And it had a great password on it. It was very, very high level. But when guests come in, they give them that password.
Oh, no.
It's the same password to the business that's got all their stuff on it.
They don't have a separate
No,
portal.
it's not separate, no. So, and they've got stuff in the cloud, like I was telling you, unencrypted
Right.
on all their clients.
Wow.
So, these are very well-respected businesses. They're great at their craft, but they don't know IT at all.
Yeah.
So, when I told them what the glaring issues were, their response back to me was, we've been operating 10 to 15 years and we haven't had a problem. Dude, you've been exposing your client data for 10 to 15 years. It's irresponsible. You understand that, right? They're like, yep. Like, okay, so you understand if you get breached, your clients are going to sue you. You understand this risk, right? And they're like, yeah. Okay. I mean, I can lead them to water, but I can't make folks drink. So, I am looking for those clients, those business owners that want to take their security more seriously. So
Right.
my message to consumers is to ask, if you got an accounting firm that you're working with, ask them, how are you protecting my data? If they come back with a sketchy answer, because there's some great accounting firms out there, but they have no passwords on their computers. Or their computer passwords are the same phone number of the company. I had a property management firm, over 300 properties. They wanted all their passwords to be the phone number for the business.
Wow.
And all their online account passwords for all their online accounts to be Colorado. And, I had them under contract for about 3 weeks. So, they did not want to change. So I couldn't make them change. So we just kind of split ways. I'm like, look, man,
well, you can't put your reputation on something like that because you know firmly that there's going to be a problem.
Right. And one of the services we don't provide is putting your business at risk.
Right.
So when you call us in to take care of this, we take it very seriously. And trust us with the expertise that we have, we're going to get this done right.
Well, here's the question, and we ate up half an hour in the blink of an eye here. I got to have you back. We got to talk more.
Yes.
Here's the question that I would ask the businesses out there that say that, well, we're fine, and we haven't had any problems in 10, 15 years, and well, we're too small. Nobody's after us, and also we can't afford that type of thing. One day that you were unable to conduct any business whatsoever, what would that cost that business?
It depends on a lot of it's
the business,
fines.
yeah.
Like accounting firms and law firms, it's based on how many client records they have. These medical classified companies, chiropractors, and these dentists and stuff like that. I've seen anywhere from like $212 to $400 something per record.
Wow.
So if you got thousands of those, that adds up pretty quick. And the cost to protect yourself from it is a lot less than you getting breached.
Bottom line is that when you say that you can't afford it, you can really not afford
Can't afford to get hacked.
Right, exactly. The consequences of that cyber attack would put you out of business.
Put you out of business.
And so, as they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yes.
And the pound of cure is provided by Firma IT Solutions.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, again, folks, I can't overstate this. This is absolutely free. I met Rodney through my insurance agent, and, you know, what a great guy both of them are, but they're really concerned about people. They're not here to shake you down and see how much they can get out of you. Rodney's out there to come up with crazy words and stuff that you don't understand what they are, so that he can, you know, tell you that it costs more. You know, it's like an attorney. You know, the bigger the word, the bigger the bill. It's absolutely free for the cybersecurity analysis, and they're going to come out, they're going to take a look at everything in your business, and they're going to give you some answers right there while they're there. So I can't overstate this. When it's free and it's so important, why wouldn't you do it? Call them today at Firma IT Solutions at 719-377-6603. That's 719-377-6603. Let them know you heard it here on Pros on Call on the radio, and that you'd like to take advantage of the free cybersecurity analysis. And I can't thank you enough for being here, Rodney. I need to have you back soon. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
And there's just, it's so interesting what you do.
Thank you.
And
We're happy to do it.
don't freak out when you do the free cybersecurity analysis here at the station.
I won't freak out. You won't be the worst I've seen, I'm sure.
I don't know about that. Thanks again, Rodney.
All right, thank you, man.
Okay, I got